So if you remember last week, I said what I was wearing was kind of a hint for what this week's video was going to be all about. Spoilers, I'm actually recording this a few hours after that. That's why I'm still wearing the same outfit. I just realized that when I do this, it blocks the microphone. I find it harder to do it on this side. Well, that is because this week is going to be an unboxing video of two different things. Something Voltron related and something Collector Core related. Well, okay, it's this month's Collector's Core box. Should I do both things after the title, or should I do the Collector's Core in the intro and then do the Voltron thing after the title? I should probably do them both after the title, so go ahead and roll the thing. Hey guys, Sean here. So you already know what this video is all about because I just told you, unless you have some sort of weird disease where the sound of crows cawing makes you forget things that happened 30 seconds ago. And so the first thing we're going to be doing in this video is unboxing this, the Marvel Collector's Core box for this month, and it is featuring Spider-Man Homecoming. If you don't know what Marvel Collector's Core is, it is a bi-monthly subscription box that you can sign up for. It is made by Funko, who makes the pop figures and all different sorts of plush and vinyl collectibles based on pop culture icons. And they have 3 different subscription boxes. There's one for Marvel, one for DC, and one for Star Wars. And in previous videos, I have unboxed the Marvel ones and the Star Wars ones. I do not subscribe to the DC one. So let's go ahead and open this box. I forgot to cut the tape in advance. Alright, so if you saw one of my previous videos, you know that the thing that I care about the most in these boxes is the pin and patch. There's a pin and patch in every single box. It's the very first thing you see when you open the box, and I have made a very fancy display for these pins and patches, which I made a video about earlier. There'll be a link to that down in the doobly-doo. So first off, we have this little Spider-Man logo pin. If I can get it to focus. If I do this, maybe it'll focus. I don't know. You can see it. You can kind of see what it, I mean, it's just his head. And the patches of the Vulture, who is going to be the main villain in Spider-Man Homecoming when it comes out in, a week, actually, from the point when this video goes up. So, see, here is the Vulture. So those will have to go in my display. Let's see what is in the box proper. First off is the card that has on the back all the stuff that's in the box, but we're not going to look at that because it'll spoil what is in the box. So the first thing in here is a variant cover of Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man #1. This actually just came out this week, I believe. I didn't pick it up because I don't know why, but I guess I just didn't want to add another series to my already extensive pull list. Unless it's Star Wars, then I will add it. But as you can see, it has Spider-Man and the Vulture in pop form. I'm sure this Spider-Man is probably something that's going to be in this box. So let's continue. Next up is a shirt that has the logo for Midtown School of Science and Technology. Established 1962. That is probably the school that Peter Parker goes to in Spider-Man Homecoming. So that'll be interesting to wear that around and see if anyone understands the reference to that. Maybe when I go see the movie, I'll wear that, like the nerd that wears the band's t-shirt to the concert. I'll be honest, I've actually worn like most of the pop shirts to when I see the movie, so I can't act like I'm super cool that I wouldn't do something like that. So here is the pop figure that is in this box. It is of Spider-Man, but unlike other Spider-Man vinyls, he is using his web wings, which they have shown that he uses in the movie. In the trailers, they have shown that off. Here's a better picture of it. As you see, his web wings underneath his arms, which is something he hasn't had in any of the previous movie iterations. And of course, as always, this is a Marvel Collector's Core exclusive. You can only get it in this box. And lastly, there are 2 Spider-Man Homecoming mystery minis here. They call them mystery minis, but since they have the images on the front, it probably is denoting what's in here. Since I got it in the Collector's Core box, it's probably guaranteed that you'll get these 2 things. Here's actually what you can get in the normal box. There is the homemade suit, the regular Spider-Man suit, the Vulture, and the Shocker. Let's go ahead and open these up. This one should theoretically be Spider-Man. Well, Spider-Man in his homemade suit, yeah. So it's Spider-Man in his homemade suit. He is, of course, a bobblehead. And then this one should be Vulture. So yeah, it's Vulture here. Blah, blah, blah. So those are cute. And then the last thing you want to do, of course, is get the card that has everything that should be in the box, just to make sure that you're not missing something from the box. So there is the mystery minis, the comic, the pop figure, the pin and patch, and the shirt. And actually with the mystery minis, everyone got 2 of the 4. So there is a chance that I could have gotten like both Spider-Man and then homemade Spider-Man, or I could have gotten Vulture and Shocker, however it would have worked out. So I'm kind of glad that I got homemade Spider-Man and Vulture, but I can't even begin to explain why I'm happy of that. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the Voltron unboxing. If you're not aware what Voltron is, it is a Japanese anime that was adapted for American television, and basically the entire story was changed for American television. It's kind of like Power Rangers actually, but instead of live action, it is animated. The original Japanese show is called Beast King Go Lion, and basically it's about a group of pilots that pilot robot lions that can form a giant robot called Voltron. It was very popular in the 80s, and then in the 90s I think they tried to bring it back a few times and it just didn't click. But then last year, DreamWorks came out with a new Voltron TV show called Voltron Legendary Defender, and it airs exclusively on Netflix. There are currently 2 seasons of it. I have only watched the first season so far, but it is really great. If you have Netflix, I highly recommend watching it, he says, as someone who hasn't watched the second season yet, even though it's been out for like 3 or 4 months. There's just too much stuff to consume these days. There's Netflix and Hulu and DVDs and Blu-rays and YouTube and video games and iTunes, and oh, there's just so much. I'm really getting off track here. So I was walking through Toys R Us the other day and I saw that they finally had the toys of all of the lions for the new Legendary Defender series from Netflix. However, they didn't have the red lion. So I was like, I don't want to get all of them and then not the red lion, because then maybe Toys R Us will never get another one of the red lion in, and then I'll have to buy it on eBay or something, and it'll be scalped on eBay, and that's just such a hassle. But then I looked down, and what should I find? This. This, my friends, is a box that has all 5 of them in it. And not only that, it was like $20 cheaper to buy them in this box than to buy them individually. And so let's go ahead and open this up so I can write it off on my taxes. First thing you gotta get through is tape. Again, why I don't have scissors, I don't know. Okay, let's slide this out here. And here they all are. We've got the red lion, the blue lion, the green lion, the yellow lion, and the black lion. There's just so much stuff here, I don't know where to begin. Probably with grabbing scissors, because there's a lot of twist ties. Okay, let's start with the red lion, since he's the reason that I got this. A lot of rubber bands holding him in place here. Alright, so here you can see is the red lion. You can move all of the limbs, and then the mouth is spring-loaded, so... And then all of them come with this. It's a little thing that Buddy can try and eat. Actually, what it really is it's a pilot in a little car. See, what they do is they get into these like tubes, and then they get jettisoned down into these little cars, and then these little cars head down tubes and into each of the individual lions. So I believe you just pop this little body cavity open on the bottom, and then you slide them in there, and yeah, it locks in place. So then now he's in there, he's piloted. The red lion is piloted. And then there's this little rocket launcher thing that goes on its back, and here is the missile. Yeah, so you can pull its tail out. That makes sense. Because when it's part of Voltron, you don't want the tail all flapping around, but then you can pull it out. And it has a body bend and a body twist. So let's see, this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18 points of articulation. Articulation is basically a fancy word for joints when it comes to action figures and toys. Next up is this very large energy sword, so we'll set that aside for future use. And then there is this other half of the energy sword, so we'll set that aside for future use. And let's move on to the green lion. Alright, so the green lion, of course, has the same number of articulation points, and the tail comes out, and then rah, and all that. But it also has the shield. Let's stop being a male and actually look at the instructions, huh? Okay, so the shield goes on the back of the green lion like that. But then also the green lion has a cannon just like the red lion does, except you can't have the shield on the back if you use this cannon, so, like that. So it's got a cannon like the red lion did. Oh! And then I forgot about Pidge. Pidge is actually one of the most interesting characters in the new Voltron series because of something that is revealed about Pidge in about the 8th or 9th episode. I really need to watch the second season. Alright, next up is the yellow lion. So, yellow lion has all these little discs, so this will be interesting to see what those do. So the yellow lion doesn't have the, it looks like the yellow and the blue lion don't have the bend in the middle, but they are slightly bigger, so that's kind of understandable. The yellow lion does have more of a pivoting head though, but that makes sense because of how Voltron is formed. And let's go ahead and get out Hunk, who is the pilot of the yellow lion. And throw him in there, and then let's get out this thing here, which I'm sure is probably a disc launcher. So there that is on the back of the yellow lion. Throw the discs in, and then that went a lot further than I was expecting it to. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that because I have now lost 2 of the discs. I didn't really lose them, it's just one of them has now gone behind a bookcase that is going to be very hard to reach, and the other one I'm not exactly sure where it went. Alright, let's move on to the blue lion. So it also has a regular springy projectile. Alright, so let's put the pilot and the blue lion. Also has the springy mouth, tail, not as many points of articulation, and the head can't twist either. And then let's get this launcher thing out. And there you go, there's the blue lion, and fires well. And lastly, the black lion. The black lion actually costs more if you buy them all individually, but that will make sense why in a moment. I need some lineman dikes to get into this thing. Any Adam Carolla fans out there? Pretty excellent story. Just Google Adam Carolla and lineman dikes and maybe it'll come up. So the black lion they had kind of already set up for Voltron mode, but I don't want him in Voltron mode right now. I want him in lion mode. So let's set him to lion mode. So not only is the black lion bigger, which is part of the reason why it's more expensive, but also it makes noises
For Voltron!
when you press the button on the side.
Destroy you. Voltron is the only thing that can stop Sarkon. Now, we will destroy you.
That's pretty ominous. It's a lion roar.
We need to increase firepower.
That's what all the cannons on the backs of all of them are. The increased firepower.
Let's light this thing up. Fire lasers.
Also, I don't know if the camera can pick it up with the light, but the chest lights up too with every sound.
For Voltron!
Alright, so now I guess we gotta form Voltron according to the Black Lion, so let's go ahead and do that. This reminds me of this time in grade school when it was show and tell and I didn't really have anything to show or tell, so I took my Transformers Stunticons figures. The Stunticons are the Decepticon cars that turn into the giant robot Menasor, and I just took them and, you know, transformed them and then built Menasor, although I didn't have the, I believe his name is Dragstrip, who is the Indy car, but I used one of the planes from the Autobot giant robot Superion, and I don't know why they thought I was a nerd. My poor camera is just so exhausted from the last 2 days that it keeps running out of power, and the really stupid thing about it is that you can't plug it into power and record at the same time. I don't know why they designed it that way. It's really frustrating. So I completed changing the Black Lion into Voltron form. Of course, everyone knows that the last thing you do is you put the head down. And I have also finished changing the Red Lion into the right arm, and now I am working on the Green Lion, changing it to the left arm. These lions aren't necessarily as cool as the original lions that came out in the 80s, but that's because those were made of die-cast metal, whereas these are completely plastic. But I will give these props because of the way that the front legs are hidden within the body when you change it into Voltron form. That is something that the original toy did not do. Although you gotta get everything in there just right. Okay, well that is the left arm. And now yellow lion. I gotta put the tail back in. And here we have the yellow lion, which is the left leg, and the blue lion, which is the right leg. Funny thing about that show and tell I was talking about earlier, where I had the Menacer, except he had Superion's arm. That night, because it was a Friday, we ended up going to Target, and I ended up getting Dragster, or whatever his name is, the correct arm for Menacer. It's weird how I always remember that, because that was like 25 years ago. It's really sad that that's what sticks in my mind, is when I got a toy, a specific toy. But to people that really know me, it's probably not all that surprising. Okay, so it's time to combine all of them. So we will start with the yellow lion, which is the left leg. So you slide the black lion's leg in here, and something should happen when we do this.
Are you sure we should do this? We got you, buddy.
Huh, so that was Hunk.
Glenn, we're still missing the blue lion. We need the red lion. Pinch, fire up the green lion. We're coming in hot. Glenn, we're still missing the blue lion.
So that's cool. Let's...
Separation sequence. Engaged.
Huh. So let's see what happens if we put just the blue lion on.
Blue lion, ready for action. Hunk, we're waiting on the yellow lion.
So yeah, it knows which one is in it. So let's go ahead and put them all on.
Red lion, ready for battle. Good to have you back, Pete. Pinch, fire up the green lion. We're coming in hot. Blue lion, ready for action. Red lion, ready for battle.
Green lion, all systems go!
Yellow lion engaged. Red, green, black, blue, and yellow lions detected. Voltron operational. Voltron complete. Targeting road piece.
Well, that's cool. So then, of course, the last thing you'll want to do is put up the ears and then lower the face to reveal Voltron's face. And so now, in theory, it should do a whole bunch of new sounds.
Pinch, form shield.
My shield can't take much more of this!
Put the shield on.
We need to increase firepower.
We got you, buddy!
So yeah, now that they're all connected, the rest of them will talk along with Sven.
Let's light this thing up. Fire lasers. Now we go on the offensive. Time to armor up.
That would have been Hunk.
Lance, Hunk, give me full reverse thrusters. Roger. Engaging lower thrust. Pinch, form shield.
Roger that!
Let's do it. Keep, form sword.
Oh yeah. So now you take the two pieces of the sword. So the red lion is supposed to hold this in his mouth when he's in lion form, and then the green lion is supposed to hold this one when he's in green lion form, and then you combine them to make the major sword. And
Time to heat things up!
and there. So there you go. The completed Voltron.
Hold it right there.
I've got to say, this is really cool. I really like this, especially the way that when you combined all the parts, it started to make the sounds that were specific for each part being connected. That is really awesome. And it's really big too. It's 16 inches tall. And if you want to turn off, you can. There's a button on the back to turn off the sound, so that every time you pick it up, if you accidentally
Now we go on the offensive.
It's on!
hit the button, it won't go off like that. So yeah, so this is really awesome. It is actually bigger than the original Voltron figure. Like the old Voltron figure was probably like 3 or 4 inches smaller than this. But then there was the one that they made later where you could actually put the action figures that were like this big, like 3 inches, into them, and that one was a little bigger. So there you have it, the Voltron Legendary Defender. I believe this is the legendary set, or like each one is called like the legendary blue lion, the legendary yellow lion, so it's probably the legendary Voltron. They do make bunches of other ones, like there's lion toys that don't combine into Voltron, and then there's Voltron toys that you can't take apart into the individual lions. This is the only one that you can. So now I just gotta find somewhere in the apartment to display it. I think I know of the perfect spot. I'm looking at it right now. But that's gonna do it for me this week. Let me know if you liked this video and if you'd like to see me do more toy reviews down the line. I, of course, will never be as popular as Ryan's toy reviews because that's like impossible. No one is as popular as Ryan's toy reviews, to the point that even PewDiePie is intimidated by that channel for some reason. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of the crazy crap that goes on around here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to help support the crazy crap that goes on around here, including buying ridiculous toys, go ahead and hit up my Patreon. And with that, have a good however long it is until you watch my next video.